John Carter stared out of the airplane window as the rolling hills and sprawling vineyards of Napa Valley came into view. It had been years since he'd last seen his family's estate, the renowned Carter Vineyards, known for producing some of the finest wines in California. But this time, his return was under the heavy cloud of his father's passing. The funeral was the following day, and John's heart was a mix of grief, guilt, and a burning determination to uphold the legacy his father had built. The taxi ride from the airport was quiet, with John lost in thoughts of his childhood and the years spent in those vineyards. As the car approached the main gate of the Carter estate, he noticed the changes. The place seemed more commercial, less the warm, family-run business he remembered. He sighed deeply, knowing that the biggest change was his father's absence. Upon arrival, John was greeted by Maria, the longtime housekeeper. She had practically raised him after his mother passed away. Her eyes were red from crying, but she managed a warm, albeit somber, smile. "John, it's good to have you back," Maria said, her voice trembling slightly. "Your father, he was proud of you, you know." John embraced her, feeling the weight of her words. "Thank you, Maria. It's good to be home, despite the circumstances." The next morning, the funeral was a solemn affair. Friends, family, and vineyard workers gathered to pay their respects. John stood by the grave, listening to the eulogies and promises to continue his father's legacy. He felt the pressure mounting with each passing moment. After the service, John found himself standing alone by the vineyard, staring at the rows of grapevines that seemed to stretch into eternity. "I need to understand this place again," he muttered to himself. And that's when the idea struck him. He needed to get back to the roots of the vineyard, literally and figuratively. To do that, he decided to assume a new identity, blending in with the workers to learn the business from the ground up. A week later, John Carter was gone, replaced by Eli, a new worker at Carter Vineyards. He donned simple clothes, smeared some dirt on his face, and changed his mannerisms to fit his new persona. Eli was a man of few words, hardworking, and determined to earn his place among the crew. His first day in the vineyard was grueling. The sun was relentless, and the work was physically demanding. Eli struggled to keep up, his muscles aching from the unaccustomed labor. But he pushed through, knowing that his efforts were crucial to gaining the trust of his fellow workers. During a break, he struck up a conversation with a seasoned worker named Miguel. Miguel was in his 50s, with weathered skin and a no-nonsense demeanor. "You're new here, Eli," Miguel said, eyeing him suspiciously. "What brings you to Carter Vineyards?" "Needed a change," Eli replied, trying to keep his story simple. "Heard this place was hiring and thought I'd give it a shot." Miguel nodded slowly. "It's hard work, but if you're willing to put in the effort, you'll do fine." Over the next few weeks, Eli immersed himself in the daily operations. He harvested grapes, repaired equipment, and did whatever tasks were needed. His hands, once soft from years of office work, became calloused. He gained a new appreciation for the labor that went into producing each bottle of wine. One evening, after a particularly long day, Eli joined the workers for a modest dinner in the communal dining area. It was here that he started to hear whispers about Mark Benson, the vineyard's head winemaker. Mark was respected for his skills, but also feared for his temper and ambition. "Mark's got plans," one worker, Carlos, said quietly. "Big plans that might not be so good for the rest of us." Eli listened intently, piecing together bits of information. Mark was apparently pushing for changes that could jeopardize the vineyard's reputation and financial stability. It seemed he had personal vendettas tied to the Carter family. As days turned into weeks, Eli's presence became a normal part of vineyard life. He worked closely with the crew, learning not just about the vineyard but about their lives and struggles. He found solace in their camaraderie and began to feel a genuine connection to the people who made Carter Vineyards what it was. Emily Carter, John's daughter, also started working at the vineyard around this time as an intern. Bright and enthusiastic, she was eager to prove herself in the family business. Eli watched her from a distance, feeling a mix of pride and concern. She was unknowingly walking into a web of deceit spun by Mark Benson. Emily often interacted with Mark, absorbing his knowledge and advice. Mark, on the other hand, saw her as a pawn in his larger game. Eli's suspicions grew, and he knew he needed to gather more concrete evidence of Mark's intentions. One evening, as Eli was finishing up his work, he overheard a conversation between Mark and another worker. They were discussing a plan to sabotage the upcoming harvest, which was critical for the vineyard's success. Eli's heart raced as he realized the gravity of the situation. If Mark succeeded, it would spell disaster for the Carter legacy and his family's future. Determined to protect his father's legacy and his daughter, Eli decided to confront Mark. He needed to expose the sabotage plan and prevent the vineyard from descending into chaos. But he had to be careful. One wrong move could endanger everything he was trying to save. The next morning, Eli approached Emily, his heart heavy with the burden of his secret. "Emily, can we talk?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "Sure, Eli. What's on your mind?" Emily replied, her eyes curious. "It's about Mark. I think there's something you need to know," Eli began, choosing his words carefully. He explained what he had overheard and his suspicions about Mark's intentions. Emily's face paled as she listened, her trust in Mark crumbling. "We need to stop him," Emily said, her voice trembling with determination. "But how?" Eli took a deep breath. "I have a plan, but it's risky. We need to gather evidence and present it to the board. They need to see the truth about Mark." Together, Eli and Emily started their covert operation. They collected documents, recorded conversations, and built a case against Mark. It was a dangerous game, but they knew it was their only chance to save the vineyard. One evening, as they were going through some files in Mark's office, they heard footsteps approaching. Panicking, they hid in a small closet, holding their breath as Mark entered the room. He seemed agitated, muttering to himself as he searched for something. Emily's heart pounded in her chest, and Eli placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. They stayed silent, praying that Mark wouldn't discover them. After what felt like an eternity, Mark left, slamming the door behind him. Emily exhaled shakily. "That was too close," she whispered. "We can't afford any mistakes," Eli replied, his voice firm. "We have to be more careful." Their efforts began to pay off as they gathered enough evidence to present to the board. The day of the meeting arrived, and Eli, still in his guise as a worker, stood by Emily as she presented their findings. The board members were shocked and appalled by the extent of Mark's deceit. Mark, realizing his plan had been uncovered, tried to defend himself but was quickly overruled. The board decided to remove him from his position and launch an investigation into his actions. As Mark was escorted out of the vineyard, Eli finally revealed his true identity to the board and the workers. Gasps and murmurs filled the room as they recognized John Carter standing before them. "I'm sorry for the deception," John said, his voice filled with emotion. "But I needed to understand this place from the ground up. I needed to see the truth for myself." The workers, who had come to respect Eli, now saw John in a new light. They admired his dedication and willingness to work alongside them. Emily, standing by her father's side, felt a newfound respect for him and a deeper understanding of his actions. With Mark gone and the vineyard's future secured, John and Emily set out to rebuild and strengthen Carter Vineyards. They worked together, drawing on their experiences and the lessons learned during John's time as Eli. The vineyard began to thrive once more, its reputation restored. John stood in the vineyard one evening, watching the sunset over the rows of grapevines. Emily joined him, and together they reflected on the journey that had brought them to this moment. "We did it, Dad," Emily said softly, her eyes shining with pride. "Yes, we did," John replied, his heart swelling with gratitude. "And we'll continue to do it together." With the conspiracy thwarted and Mark Benson ousted, the vineyard entered a period of renewal and rebuilding. John and Emily worked tirelessly, side by side, to restore Carter Vineyards to its former glory. Their shared experience brought them closer together, forging a bond that was both personal and professional. One of their first initiatives was to hold a meeting with all the vineyard workers. They wanted to address the events that had transpired and reassure everyone about the future. John stood before the gathered workers, feeling a mix of nerves and determination. "I want to thank all of you for your hard work and dedication," John began, his voice steady. "My time as Eli showed me the true spirit of this vineyard, and I have a deep respect for each of you." Together, We will rebuild and make Carter Vineyard stronger than ever." The workers, now seeing John as one of their own, responded with nods and murmurs of agreement. Miguel, who had been a mentor to Eli, stepped forward. "We're with you, John," Miguel said firmly. "Let's make this place great again." Encouraged by the support, John and Emily introduced several changes aimed at improving the working conditions and overall operations of the vineyard. They invested in new equipment, implemented better training programs, and ensured that everyone had a voice in the decision-making process. As the months passed, the vineyard began to flourish. The grapevines were healthy, the workers were motivated, and the sense of community was stronger than ever. John found himself falling back in love with the vineyard, feeling a renewed sense of purpose and connection to his roots. Emily, too, was thriving. She took on more responsibilities, learning the intricacies of winemaking and vineyard management. Her enthusiasm and fresh ideas brought new energy to the business, and she quickly gained the respect of the workers and the board. Despite the progress, the shadow of Mark Benson still lingered. The investigation into his actions revealed the extent of his sabotage and the financial damage he had caused. It was a reminder of the fragility of their success and the importance of vigilance. One evening, as John and Emily were going over the day's work, they received an unexpected visitor. A man in his late 40s, with a serious expression and a briefcase, introduced himself as Detective Harris. "Mr. Carter, Ms. Carter, I'm Detective Harris. I've been leading the investigation into Mark Benson," he said, shaking their hands. "Detective, please have a seat," John offered, gesturing to a chair. "What can we do for you?" Harris sat down, placing his briefcase on the table. "I've come to inform you about the latest developments in the case. We've found evidence that Mark was working with outside parties to sabotage your vineyard. We're still identifying all the individuals involved, but I wanted to give you an update." John's expression darkened. "Who are these outside parties? What do they want?" "We're still piecing it together, but it appears to be a combination of business rivals and individuals with personal grudges against your family," Harris explained. "Mark was motivated by a mix of greed and revenge." Emily clenched her fists. "How do we stop them? We can't let them destroy everything we've worked for." Harris nodded. "We're working on it. In the meantime, I suggest tightening your security and keeping a close eye on your operations. We'll do our best to keep you informed." After the detective left, John and Emily sat in silence, absorbing the gravity of the situation. "We can't let them win," John said finally, his voice resolute. "We've come too far to be brought down by these people." Emily agreed. "We need to be proactive. Let's increase security, review our procedures, and make sure everyone is vigilant." In the days that followed, they implemented new security measures, including installing cameras, hiring additional guards, and conducting thorough background checks on all employees. They also held regular meetings to keep everyone informed and involved in protecting the vineyard. As the threats loomed, the sense of unity among the workers grew stronger. They rallied together, determined to defend the vineyard and their livelihoods. Miguel and Carlos took on leadership roles, organizing patrols and ensuring that everyone was on the lookout for suspicious activities. Amidst the heightened security, John and Emily continued to focus on the vineyard's operations. The harvest season was approaching, and they needed to ensure that the grapes were of the highest quality. It was a critical time, and any disruption could have severe consequences. One evening, as John was walking through the vineyard, he noticed a figure standing near one of the grapevines. It was Maria, the housekeeper who had been with the family for decades. She was holding a small notebook and seemed deep in thought. "Maria, everything all right?" John asked, approaching her. Maria looked up, her eyes reflecting a mix of concern and determination. "John, there's something you need to see," she said, handing him the notebook. John opened it and saw detailed notes and sketches of the vineyard. It was Maria's journal, documenting changes she had noticed over the years, including the subtle sabotage that had taken place under Mark's watch. "Maria, this is incredible," John said, flipping through the pages. "Why didn't you show me this before?" "I wasn't sure what to do," Maria admitted. "I suspected something was wrong, but I didn't have proof. I didn't want to accuse anyone without being certain." John hugged her tightly. "Thank you, Maria. This could be the key to understanding how they operated and how we can prevent it from happening again. With Maria's journal in hand, John and Emily worked tirelessly to cross-reference her observations with the data they had collected. They uncovered patterns and techniques that Mark and his accomplices had used to undermine the vineyard. This newfound knowledge allowed them to strengthen their defenses and ensure that such sabotage could never happen again. The weeks leading up to the harvest were tense, but the preparations paid off. The grapes were abundant and of excellent quality, promising a fruitful yield. The workers, motivated by their shared purpose, poured their hearts into the harvest, knowing that their efforts were essential to the vineyard's success. Finally, the day of the harvest arrived. The air was filled with anticipation and the scent of ripe grapes. John stood at the edge of the vineyard, watching as the workers moved through the rows, carefully picking the clusters of grapes. Emily was in the thick of it, her hands stained with grape juice as she worked alongside the crew. As the sun set and the last of the grapes were brought in, a cheer erupted from the workers. They had done it. The harvest was a success, and the future of Carter Vineyards was secured. John gathered everyone together, his heart swelling with pride and gratitude. "Today, we prove that we are stronger together," he said, his voice carrying across the vineyard. "This harvest is a testament to our hard work, resilience, and unity. Thank you, everyone, for making this possible." Emily stepped forward, her face glowing with joy. "And to my father, who showed us what it means to lead by example. Eli taught us the value of every hand that touches these vines. Let's raise a glass to the future of Carter Vineyards." The workers cheered, raising their glasses in a toast. The sense of accomplishment and camaraderie was palpable, and for the first time in a long while, John felt a deep sense of peace. The vineyard was not just a business. It was a family, bound together by their love for the land and their shared dreams. As the celebration continued into the night, John and Emily took a moment to reflect on their journey. They had faced numerous challenges and uncovered hidden threats, but they had emerged stronger. The legacy of Carter Vineyards was secure, and they were ready to embrace the future with open hearts and renewed determination. In the quiet of the evening, as the stars twinkled overhead, John turned to Emily. "We did it, Emily. We saved the vineyard." Emily smiled, her eyes shining with tears of joy. "Yes, Dad. And we'll keep it thriving for generations to come." The vineyard's success brought a renewed sense of hope, but with it came heightened vigilance. The ongoing investigation into Mark Benson's sabotage unearthed more unsettling truths. As John and Emily worked tirelessly to secure the vineyard, they couldn't ignore the feeling that the threats were far from over. One afternoon, as John reviewed the latest security reports in his office, Emily burst in, her face pale with worry. "Dad, we need to talk," she said urgently. John looked up, his concern growing. "What is it, Emily?" Emily closed the door behind her and took a deep breath. "I've been hearing whispers from the workers. They're saying that someone is still trying to sabotage us." John frowned, his mind racing. "Do we have any idea who it might be?" "Not yet," Emily admitted. "But it seems like whoever it is, they're trying to sow discord among the workers. Some are starting to believe that our success is temporary and that the vineyard is still in danger." John stood up, pacing the room. "We need to find out who's behind this and stop them before they cause any more damage." Emily nodded. "I've already started talking to some of the workers, trying to get more information. But we need to be careful. If we're too aggressive, we might scare them off." "Agreed," John said, his voice resolute. "Let's handle this quietly and methodically. We'll talk to Miguel and Carlos. They've been reliable allies." Later that day, John and Emily met with Miguel and Carlos in a secluded part of the vineyard. Miguel, always perceptive, had already noticed the growing tension among the workers. "John, Emily, it's good you called us," Miguel said. "I've been hearing the same rumors. There's definitely someone stirring the pot." Carlos nodded in agreement. "We've been trying to keep morale high, but it's getting harder. People are scared, and fear breeds distrust. We need to identify who's behind this," John said. "Do you have any leads?" Miguel hesitated for a moment before speaking. "There's a new worker, Javier. He joined a few weeks ago, right after the harvest. He's been asking a lot of questions, more than usual for a newcomer. Emily leaned forward. Do you think he could be involved? It's possible, Miguel replied, but we need to be sure. We can't accuse him without solid evidence. All right, John said, formulating a plan. Miguel, keep an eye on Javier. See if you can find out more about him. Carlos, continue to monitor the workers and try to keep their spirits up. Emily and I will handle things from our end. As the days passed, Miguel discreetly observed Javier, noting his interactions and movements. Javier seemed to blend in with the workers, but there were moments when he appeared to be too curious, too interested in the vineyard's inner workings. One evening, Miguel approached John and Emily with his findings. I think Javier is our guy, Miguel said, his voice low. I caught him snooping around the equipment shed last night. He tried to play it off, but something felt off. John's expression hardened. We need to confront him, but we have to be smart about it. If he's working for someone else, we need to know who and why. Emily nodded. Let's set a trap. We'll create a situation that forces him to reveal his true intentions. They devised a plan to stage a fake equipment malfunction, hoping that Javier would take the bait and show his hand. The next morning, John and Emily announced that one of the main irrigation pumps had broken down and needed urgent repairs. As expected, Javier was quick to volunteer his help. While he worked on the pump, Miguel and Carlos discreetly watched from a distance. It didn't take long for Javier to make his move. He pulled out a small device from his pocket and attached it to the pump, clearly intending to sabotage it further. Miguel signaled to John and Emily, who approached quietly. John's heart pounded as they closed in on Javier, ready to confront him. Javier, engrossed in his task, didn't notice their approach until it was too late. Javier, what are you doing? John demanded, his voice firm. Javier jumped, his eyes wide with fear and guilt. I was just trying to fix the pump, he stammered. We know what you're doing, Emily said, stepping forward. You've been sabotaging our equipment and spreading rumors among the workers. Who are you working for? Javier's face went pale. He looked around, realizing he was cornered. All right, he said, raising his hands. I'll tell you everything. Just don't hurt me. We're not going to hurt you, John assured him. We just want the truth. Javier took a deep breath. I was hired by a competitor, Wilson Vineyards. They wanted to take down Carter Vineyards and take over your market share. I was promised a big payout if I succeeded. John exchanged a glance with Emily, both of them feeling a mix of anger and relief. They had the information they needed, but the threat was more significant than they had imagined. Why did you do it? Emily asked, her voice tinged with disappointment. I needed the money, Javier admitted, hanging his head. I have a family to support, and they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. John's expression softened slightly. You made a mistake, Javier, but now you have a chance to make it right. Help us take down Wilson Vineyards and stop this sabotage once and for all. Javier looked up, hope flickering in his eyes. I'll do it. I'll help you. With Javier's cooperation, John and Emily formulated a plan to expose Wilson Vineyards. They gathered all the evidence of sabotage and Javier's confession, preparing to present it to the authorities and the wine industry's regulatory bodies. The day of reckoning arrived. John and Emily, accompanied by Javier, presented their case to a panel of industry officials. The evidence was overwhelming, and the officials were appalled by the lengths Wilson Vineyards had gone to undermine Carter Vineyards. As the panel deliberated, John and Emily waited anxiously outside. Javier stood with them, his expression a mix of guilt and hope. I'm sorry for everything, Javier said quietly. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I just wanted to take care of my family. John placed a hand on his shoulder. We understand, Javier, and we appreciate your honesty. Let's hope this brings an end to all the trouble. Finally, the panel called them back in. The verdict was swift and decisive. Wilson Vineyards was to be investigated for their unethical practices, and Carter Vineyards was cleared of any wrongdoing. The industry officials praised John and Emily for their resilience and commitment to the integrity of winemaking. With the threat of sabotage lifted and the vineyard secure, John and Emily returned to Carter Vineyards with a renewed sense of purpose. The relief of having exposed Wilson Vineyards and securing Carter Vineyards' future was palpable. However, John and Emily knew that their work was far from over. The vineyard, although protected from immediate threats, needed solidifying to ensure its continued success and legacy. In the weeks following the investigation, John and Emily focused on integrating the vineyard workers into the decision-making processes. They held regular meetings, encouraging open communication and fostering a sense of community and ownership among everyone involved. One sunny morning, John called for a meeting with the entire staff. The workers gathered near the main house, their faces showing a mix of curiosity and anticipation. Emily stood beside him, ready to address the group. "Good morning, everyone," John began, his voice carrying over the murmurs. "First, I want to thank each and every one of you for your hard work and dedication, especially during these challenging times. Your resilience and commitment have been crucial to our success." The workers nodded and murmured in agreement, their respect for John and Emily evident. Emily stepped forward, her voice clear and confident. "We've been through a lot together, and we've come out stronger. But we believe there's still room for improvement, and we want your input on how we can make Carter Vineyards even better." John continued, "From now on, we'll be forming a workers' committee. This committee will have representatives from each department, and you'll have regular meetings with Emily and me to discuss ideas, concerns, and suggestions. We want you to have a direct voice in shaping the future of this vineyard." Miguel, who had become a trusted leader among the workers, raised his hand. "That's a great idea, John. We appreciate that you want to hear from us. It will make us feel more involved and valued." Carlos added, "I agree. Knowing that our opinions matter will motivate us even more. It's a step in the right direction." The positive feedback from the workers reinforced John and Emily's decision. They spent the next few days organizing the committee, selecting representatives, and scheduling the first meeting. The atmosphere at the vineyard became more collaborative, and the workers' enthusiasm was infectious. As the committee meetings began, John and Emily listened intently to the workers' suggestions. One of the key topics discussed was improving the working conditions. The workers expressed a need for better equipment, more efficient workflows, and additional training opportunities. John took their feedback to heart. "We'll start by upgrading the equipment and ensuring everyone has the tools they need to do their job effectively. We'll also bring in experts to provide training and development programs." Emily nodded. "And we'll look into streamlining our processes to reduce unnecessary labor and increase productivity. Your well-being is our priority, and we'll do everything we can to make this a better place to work." The improvements were implemented quickly. New machinery was brought in, training sessions were scheduled, and workflows were optimized. The workers responded positively, appreciating the changes and the effort John and Emily put into addressing their concerns. One afternoon, as John was overseeing the installation of new equipment in the winery, he noticed Emily speaking animatedly with a group of workers. She had always been good with people, her genuine interest and care shining through in every interaction. After the workers dispersed, John approached her. "You're doing a fantastic job, Emily. The workers respect you, and they're really responding to your leadership." Emily smiled, her eyes sparkling with gratitude. "Thanks, Dad. I'm just trying to follow your example. We're a team, and I want them to feel like they're part of the family." John's heart swelled with pride. "You're a natural leader, Emily. Together, we can take Carter Vineyards to new heights." As the vineyard continued to thrive, John and Emily turned their attention to expanding their market reach. They decided to participate in prestigious wine competitions and festivals, showcasing their wines to a broader audience. It was a strategic move to enhance their reputation and attract new customers. The first major event was the Napa Valley Wine Auction, a renowned gathering of vintners, collectors, and wine enthusiasts from around the world. Carter Vineyards had participated in the past, but this year, John and Emily were determined to make a memorable impression. The preparations were intense. They selected their finest wines, designed an elegant display booth, and rehearsed their presentations. The workers, now more invested than ever, helped with the preparations, eager to see their hard work recognized on a grand stage. On the day of the auction, the Carter Vineyards booth stood out with its sophisticated design and inviting atmosphere. John and Emily, dressed in their finest attire, greeted guests, poured samples, and shared the vineyard's story. As the event progressed, They attracted the attention of influential wine critics and potential buyers. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive, with many praising the quality and uniqueness of their wines. John and Emily's passion and authenticity shone through, leaving a lasting impression on everyone they met. Towards the end of the evening, a renowned wine critic, known for his discerning palate and influential reviews, approached their booth. He tasted several of their wines, nodding appreciatively with each sip. "John, Emily," he said, his voice carrying a tone of genuine admiration. "Your wines are exceptional. The balance, the complexity. It's clear that a lot of love and expertise went into making them. I'll be featuring Carter Vineyards in my next column." Emily's eyes widened with excitement. "Thank you so much. It means a lot to us." John shook the critic's hand. "We're honored. Thank you for recognizing our work." The critic smiled. "Keep doing what you're doing. You have something special here." As the auction came to a close, John and Emily felt a sense of accomplishment and hope. They had successfully showcased their wines, built valuable connections, and gained recognition from some of the industry's most respected figures. Returning to the vineyard, they shared the good news with the workers. The atmosphere was celebratory, with everyone feeling proud of their collective achievement. John and Emily knew that this was just the beginning, but it was a significant milestone on their journey. That evening, John and Emily sat on the porch of the main house, watching the sun set over the vineyard. The sky was painted with hues of orange and pink, a serene backdrop to their conversation. "We've come a long way," John said, his voice filled with reflection, "but there's still so much more we can do." Emily nodded, her expression determined. "Absolutely. We've built a strong foundation, and now we need to keep pushing forward. There's no limit to what we can achieve." John smiled, feeling a profound sense of gratitude and pride. "Together, we'll continue to grow Carter Vineyards and honor the legacy of this land." With Carter Vineyards on a solid footing, John and Emily turned their attention to the future. They knew that to ensure the vineyard's long-term success, they needed to innovate and diversify. The idea of expanding their product line and exploring new markets began to take shape. One afternoon, as John and Emily walked through the vineyard, admiring the lush grapevines, Emily shared her vision. "Dad, I've been thinking about how we can diversify our offerings. What if we introduce a line of artisanal products? We could make grape-based goods like jams, jellies, and even skincare products." John considered her suggestion. "That's a great idea, Emily. It would allow us to utilize more of our produce and attract a different segment of customers. We could also partner with local artisans to create unique products." Excited by the possibilities, they began researching and planning their new venture. Emily took the lead, reaching out to experts in various fields and attending workshops to learn more about artisanal production. John, meanwhile, focused on the business side, analyzing market trends and developing a strategy for their new product line. Their enthusiasm was infectious, and soon the entire vineyard staff was buzzing with excitement about the new project. They converted a section of the vineyard into a production area where they could experiment with recipes and create prototypes. One evening, as Emily was testing a batch of grape jelly, Maria walked in. "Emily, I've been making jams and preserves for years. I'd love to help if you'll have me." Emily's face lit up. "Maria, that would be amazing. Your jams are legendary. We could really use your expertise." Together, they experimented with different flavors and combinations, using grapes from the vineyard and incorporating other local ingredients. The results were impressive, and soon they had a range of products ready for testing. John organized a tasting event, inviting friends, family, and local business owners to sample their new creations. The response was overwhelmingly positive, with many attendees expressing interest in purchasing the products and stocking them in their stores. Buoyed by the success of the tasting event, John and Emily decided to officially launch their new product line. They named it Carter's Artisan Goods, and the initial offerings included grape jelly, grape jam, and a luxurious grape-infused skincare line. As they prepared for the launch, Emily focused on marketing and branding. She created elegant packaging that reflected the quality and heritage of Carter Vineyards. John worked on distribution, establishing partnerships with local stores and exploring online sales channels. The launch event was a grand affair, held at the vineyard. Guests enjoyed tours, tastings, and demonstrations of how the products were made. The local media covered the event, bringing additional attention to their new venture. During the event, John and Emily were approached by Sarah Thompson, a well-known influencer in the food and wellness industry. Sarah had a large following on social media and was known for promoting high-quality, artisanal products. "John, Emily, I'm impressed by what you've done here," Sarah said, shaking their hands. "I'd love to feature Carter's artisan goods on my channels. I think my followers would really appreciate your products." Emily beamed with excitement. "Thank you, Sarah. That would be fantastic. We'd love to collaborate with you." Over the next few weeks, Sarah visited the vineyard several times, creating content that showcased the production process, the story behind the products, and the beautiful landscape of Carter Vineyards. Her posts generated a lot of interest, and soon orders were pouring in from across the country. With the increased demand, John and Emily had to scale up production. They hired more staff, invested in additional equipment, and optimized their processes to meet the growing needs. The vineyard was bustling with activity, and the sense of achievement was palpable. One afternoon, as John reviewed the latest sales figures, he received a call from an unexpected source. It was Robert Hastings, the CEO of a major national retailer. "John, I've been following the success of Carter's artisan goods," Robert said. "We're very interested in carrying your products in our stores nationwide. I believe it would be a great addition to our artisanal and organic section." John was taken aback by the offer. "That's an incredible opportunity, Robert. I'm honored that you want to feature our products. Let's set up a meeting to discuss the details." The meeting with Robert Hastings was a pivotal moment. John and Emily presented their vision and the values that underpinned their products. Robert was impressed by their passion and commitment to quality. After a thorough discussion, they reached an agreement to launch Carter's artisan goods in stores across the country. The national launch was a huge success. The products flew off the shelves, and Carter's artisan goods became a household name. The vineyard saw a significant boost in revenue, allowing John and Emily to reinvest in their operations and explore new growth opportunities. With their newfound success, John and Emily didn't forget their roots. They continued to prioritize the well-being of their workers, ensuring that everyone shared in the prosperity of the vineyard. They also increased their involvement in the local community, supporting initiatives that promoted sustainable agriculture and artisanal production. One evening, as they sat on the porch, reflecting on their journey, Emily turned to John. "Dad, I'm so proud of what we've accomplished. Enjoying the video? Subscribe to our channel to receive more interesting content. Click the subscribe button and stay updated with the latest news. We've not only preserved our family's legacy, but also created something new and meaningful." John smiled, his eyes filled with pride. "You've been the driving force behind this, Emily. Your vision and determination have brought us here. I'm proud of you." Emily leaned her head on his shoulder. "We did it together, Dad, and I can't wait to see what the future holds." With Carter's artisan goods thriving and the vineyard firmly established, John and Emily began to look towards the future with a new vision: sustainability. They realized that in order to ensure the longevity of the vineyard and their new product line, they needed to adopt practices that would not only benefit their business, but also the environment. One crisp morning, as John and Emily strolled through the vineyard, the sun casting a golden glow over the rows of grapevines, Emily shared her latest idea. "Dad, I've been thinking about how we can make our operations more sustainable," she said, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "We could reduce our carbon footprint, implement organic farming practices, and even explore renewable energy sources for the vineyard." John nodded thoughtfully. "I've been considering that too. Sustainability isn't just a trend, it's a necessity. We need to be responsible stewards of this land if we want it to continue thriving for future generations." Excited by their shared vision, they began researching sustainable farming methods and renewable energy solutions. They attended seminars, consulted with experts, and visited other vineyards that had successfully implemented green practices. Back at Carter Vineyards, they held a meeting with the workers to discuss their new sustainability initiative. John stood before the group, his voice filled with conviction. "We're embarking on a new journey," he announced. "One that will not only enhance the quality of our wines and artisanal products, but also protect and preserve our environment." "We're committed to making Carter Vineyards a model of sustainability." The workers, inspired by John and Emily's passion, were eager to support the initiative. They discussed various ideas, from composting and water conservation to using organic fertilizers and pesticides. Over the next few months, the vineyard underwent a transformation. They installed solar panels on the rooftops of the main house and production facilities, reducing their reliance on fossil fuels. They implemented a comprehensive composting program, turning grape pomace and other organic waste into nutrient-rich compost for the vineyards. Emily took the lead in transitioning to organic farming practices. She worked closely with the vineyard managers, educating them on the benefits of organic methods and overseeing the gradual shift away from synthetic chemicals. One afternoon, as Emily was inspecting the progress in one of the vineyard blocks, Maria approached her with a basket of freshly picked herbs. "Emily, I've been growing these herbs in my garden for years," Maria said. "I thought we could use them in our artisanal products, especially the skincare line. They're all organic and grown without any pesticides." Emily's face lit up. "That's a wonderful idea, Maria. We could create an entirely new range of products with these herbs. Thank you for sharing them with us." With Maria's herbs, they developed new skincare products, incorporating ingredients like lavender, rosemary, and chamomile. The products were a hit, praised for their natural ingredients and soothing properties. John, meanwhile, focused on water conservation. He implemented drip irrigation systems, which significantly reduced water usage while ensuring that the grapevines received the optimal amount of hydration. He also installed rainwater harvesting systems, capturing and storing rainwater for use during the dry season. As the sustainable practices took root, the vineyard began to flourish even more. The grapevines were healthier, the soil more fertile, and the overall quality of the produce improved. Customers noticed the difference, and Carter Vineyard's reputation for excellence grew. One day, as John was walking through the vineyard, he noticed a group of visitors touring the property. Among them was a young woman with a notebook, scribbling notes and asking questions. Curious, John approached her. "Hello, I'm John Carter. Welcome to Carter Vineyards," he said, extending his hand. The woman smiled and shook his hand. "Hi, I'm Sarah Brooks, a journalist with Green Agriculture Today. I've heard about your sustainability initiatives and wanted to learn more. Would you be willing to share your experiences with our readers?" John's eyes lit up. "Of course, Sarah. We'd be happy to share our journey." Over the next few hours, John and Emily walked Sarah through the vineyard, explaining the various sustainable practices they had implemented. Sarah was impressed by their dedication and the tangible results of their efforts. "This is truly inspiring," Sarah said, jotting down notes. "Your commitment to sustainability is a model for other vineyards and farms." As Sarah prepared to leave, she turned to John and Emily. "Thank you for sharing your story. I'm sure our readers will be as inspired as I am. I'll make sure to highlight the impact of your efforts and how others can follow your example." A few weeks later, the article was published, and it quickly gained traction. Readers from across the country were captivated by the story of Carter Vineyard's transformation. The vineyard received numerous inquiries from other farmers and vineyard owners seeking advice on sustainable practices. Buoyed by the positive response, John and Emily decided to take their sustainability efforts a step further. They hosted workshops and seminars at the vineyard, inviting experts to speak and sharing their own experiences. The events were well attended, fostering a sense of community and collaboration among those committed to sustainable agriculture. One evening, as John and Emily sat on the porch, watching the sunset, Emily reflected on their journey. "Dad, it's amazing to see how far we've come," she said. "We've not only improved our vineyard, but also inspired others to embrace sustainability." John smiled, his heart swelling with pride. "We've created something truly special, Emily, and it's all thanks to your vision and determination." Emily leaned her head on his shoulder. "We did it together, Dad, and we'll continue to push forward, always striving to be better." As the stars began to twinkle overhead, John and Emily felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had not only secured the future of Carter Vineyards, but had also made a positive impact on the broader agricultural community. The vineyard was a testament to their hard work, innovation, and unwavering commitment to sustainability. With the vineyard flourishing and their sustainability initiatives gaining recognition, John and Emily looked to the horizon with hope and excitement. They knew that challenges would always arise, but they were ready to face them head-on, confident in their ability to adapt and thrive. The success of Carter Vineyard's sustainability initiatives had a ripple effect throughout Napa Valley and beyond. Inspired by John and Emily's dedication, neighboring vineyards and local farms began to adopt similar practices. The sense of community and collaboration grew stronger, and Carter Vineyards emerged as a leader in sustainable agriculture. One day, as John and Emily were walking through the vineyard, they were approached by a group of local farmers. Among them was Tom Parker, a third-generation farmer who had been struggling to keep his family farm afloat. "John, Emily," Tom began, his voice tinged with hope and apprehension. "We've seen the incredible work you've done here, and we're inspired. But we're not sure where to start. Can you help us transition to more sustainable practices?" John and Emily exchanged a glance, their hearts swelling with pride and a sense of responsibility. "Of course, Tom," John said. "We'd be honored to help. Let's set up a meeting to discuss your needs and how we can support you." Over the next few weeks, John and Emily worked closely with Tom and other local farmers, sharing their knowledge and resources. They held workshops at Carter Vineyards, inviting experts to speak and providing hands-on training in sustainable farming techniques. Emily spearheaded a mentoring program, pairing experienced vineyard workers with farmers who were new to sustainable practices. The program fostered a sense of camaraderie and mutual support, with everyone working towards a common goal. One sunny afternoon, as they were wrapping up a workshop, Emily noticed a young girl standing shyly at the edge of the group. She had a notebook clutched in her hands and a curious look in her eyes. "Hi there," Emily said, approaching her with a warm smile. "What's your name?" The girl looked up, her eyes brightening. "I'm Lily. My parents are farmers, and I want to learn about sustainable agriculture so I can help them." Emily's heart melted at the girl's enthusiasm. "That's wonderful, Lily. We'd love to have you join us. How about you help me with the next demonstration?" Lily nodded eagerly, and Emily guided her through the process of composting, explaining the benefits and techniques. The other participants watched, impressed by the young girl's enthusiasm and Emily's patient mentorship. As the day came to an end, John gathered everyone together for a closing discussion. "We've made great progress today," he said, his voice filled with optimism. "But this is just the beginning. By working together, we can create a more sustainable future for all our farms and vineyards." The local farmers left the workshop feeling inspired and empowered. Many of them implemented the new practices they had learned, and the results were soon visible. The crops were healthier, the soil more fertile, and the overall productivity improved. As Carter Vineyard's influence grew, so did their sense of community involvement. John and Emily decided to launch a series of community outreach programs, focusing on education, health, and environmental stewardship. They partnered with local schools to create educational programs about sustainable agriculture. Emily visited classrooms, sharing stories of the vineyard and teaching children about the importance of caring for the environment. One day, as Emily was preparing for a presentation at a local elementary school, she felt a tap on her shoulder. Turning around, she saw Mrs. Thompson, her old teacher, who had always encouraged her passion for science and nature. "Emily, it's so wonderful to see you," Mrs. Thompson said, her eyes sparkling with pride. "I've been following your journey, and I'm so proud of what you've accomplished. The children are going to love your presentation." Emily hugged her former teacher, feeling a surge of gratitude. "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. Your support meant so much to me. I'm excited to share our story with the next generation." The presentation was a hit, with the children eagerly asking questions and participating in hands-on activities. Emily felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that she was inspiring young minds to care for the environment. Meanwhile, John focused on health initiatives within the community. He organized free health clinics at the vineyard, providing medical checkups, nutritional advice, and wellness workshops. The clinics were a collaborative effort, with local doctors and health professionals volunteering their time and expertise. One morning, as the clinic was underway, John noticed an elderly couple sitting quietly on a bench, waiting for their turn. He walked over and introduced himself. "Hello, I'm John Carter. Thank you for coming today. How can we help you?" The couple smiled warmly. We're the Millers. We've lived in this community for over 50 years, but it's been hard to get medical care lately. We're grateful for what you're doing here." John felt a surge of compassion. "It's our pleasure, Mr. and Mrs. Miller. We're committed to supporting our community in every way we can." The health clinics became a regular event, fostering a sense of connection and support within the community. People from all walks of life came together, united by a shared commitment to health and well-being. As Carter Vineyard's community initiatives flourished, John and Emily decided to take their environmental efforts a step further. They launched a reforestation project aiming to restore native habitats and promote biodiversity. They partnered with environmental organizations, local schools, and volunteers to plant trees and restore natural areas around the vineyard. The project brought people together, strengthening the community's bond with the land. One crisp autumn day, as they were planting trees along a hillside, John looked around at the volunteers, children, families, and elderly residents, all working together with smiles on their faces. He felt a deep sense of gratitude and purpose. "Emily, look at this," John said, his voice filled with emotion. "This is what it's all about. We're not just building a vineyard. We're building a community." Emily nodded, her eyes shining with pride. "We've come a long way, Dad, and we're just getting started." As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the newly planted trees, John and Emily stood side by side, reflecting on their journey. They had transformed Carter Vineyards into a beacon of sustainability and community spirit, creating a legacy that would endure for generations. Their commitment to the land and the people had brought them success, but more importantly, it had brought them fulfillment and a sense of purpose. They knew that the future held many more challenges and opportunities, but they were ready to face them together, with the support of their community and the strength of their bond. The success of Carter Vineyards and its various initiatives led to a period of unprecedented growth and innovation. With the vineyard firmly established as a model of sustainability and community engagement, John and Emily began to explore new avenues for expansion and improvement. One morning, as John and Emily were reviewing the latest sales figures in the office, they received a call from a tech company specializing in agricultural innovations. The company, Green Tech Solutions, had developed cutting-edge technologies aimed at enhancing vineyard management and sustainability. "Mr. Carter, Ms. Carter, we've been following your journey and are impressed with your commitment to sustainability," said Emma Reed, the company's representative. "We'd love to collaborate with you and implement some of our technologies at Carter Vineyards." Intrigued, John and Emily agreed to meet with Emma and her team. A few days later, they gathered in the vineyard's conference room, eager to learn about the new possibilities. Emma began her presentation, showcasing various technologies that could revolutionize their operations. "We have advanced soil sensors that provide real-time data on moisture levels, nutrient content, and soil health. This will allow you to optimize irrigation and fertilization, ensuring your vines get exactly what they need." Emily's eyes lit up with excitement. "That sounds incredible. We've already made great strides with our sustainable practices, but this could take us to the next level." Emma continued, "We also have drones equipped with multispectral cameras that can monitor vine health, detect diseases early, and even assist with precision harvesting. These technologies can save you time and resources while improving overall efficiency." John nodded thoughtfully. "We're always looking for ways to innovate and improve. This could be a game changer for us." Over the next few weeks, the Green Tech Solutions team worked closely with the vineyard staff to implement the new technologies. The soil sensors were installed throughout the vineyard, providing valuable data that helped John and Emily make informed decisions about irrigation and fertilization. The drones quickly became an essential tool for monitoring vine health and managing the vineyard with precision. One afternoon, as John and Emily were observing the drones in action, they were joined by Miguel, who had been instrumental in integrating the new technologies. "Miguel, what do you think of the new systems?" John asked, curious about his perspective. Miguel smiled, his eyes reflecting a mix of awe and appreciation. "It's amazing, John. These technologies are helping us work smarter, not harder. We're seeing improvements in vine health and overall efficiency. It's like we've stepped into the future." Emily nodded in agreement. "And the best part is, it aligns perfectly with our sustainability goals. We're using less water, fewer chemicals, and getting better results." It's a win-win. As the vineyard continued to thrive, John and Emily decided to celebrate their achievements by hosting a grand event, the Carter Vineyards Innovation Gala. The gala would showcase their journey, the new technologies, and their commitment to sustainability and community. The event planning was a collaborative effort, with everyone at the vineyard pitching in. They transformed the main house and surrounding gardens into a stunning venue, complete with elegant decorations, gourmet food, and live music. The night of the gala arrived, and guests from all over the region gathered to celebrate. Among them were local farmers, business leaders, environmental advocates, and media representatives. The atmosphere was electric, filled with excitement and anticipation. John and Emily stood at the entrance, greeting guests as they arrived. Emery and her team from Green Tech Solutions were among the first to arrive, eager to see the fruits of their collaboration. "John, Emily, this is incredible," Emma said, taking in the beautifully decorated venue. "You've done an amazing job." "Thank you, Emma," John replied, smiling warmly. "We couldn't have done it without your support and expertise." As the evening progressed, John and Emily took the stage to address the crowd. The guests fell silent, their attention focused on the father-daughter duo who had transformed Carter Vineyards into a beacon of innovation and sustainability. "Good evening, everyone," John began, his voice filled with emotion. "Thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate the journey of Carter Vineyards. We've come a long way, and it's thanks to the hard work, dedication, and support of our amazing team and community." Emily continued, "Our success is a testament to the power of collaboration and innovation. We're proud of what we've accomplished, but we're even more excited about the future. Tonight, we want to share our vision and inspire others to join us in creating a more sustainable and innovative world." They unveiled a short film that chronicled their journey, highlighting the challenges they had overcome, the innovations they had implemented, and the impact of their sustainability initiatives. The film received a standing ovation, with guests visibly moved by the story of perseverance and vision. After the film, John and Emily opened the floor for a panel discussion. Experts from Green Tech Solutions, environmental organizations, and local farmers shared their insights and experiences, sparking lively discussions about the future of sustainable agriculture. One of the guests, a well-known environmental activist named David Harris, approached John and Emily after the panel. "I'm truly inspired by what you've achieved here," he said. "Your vineyard is a model for others to follow. I'd love to collaborate on a larger scale and promote sustainable practices across the country." John's eyes widened with excitement. "That sounds like an incredible opportunity, David. We'd be honored to work with you." The gala continued late into the night, with guests mingling, exchanging ideas, and celebrating the spirit of innovation and sustainability. The sense of community was stronger than ever, with everyone united by a shared vision for the future. As the event came to a close, John and Emily stood at the edge of the vineyard, watching the stars twinkle overhead. The success of the gala had reinforced their commitment to their mission and opened new doors for collaboration and growth. "Dad, tonight was magical," Emily said, her voice filled with awe. "We've achieved so much, and there's still so much more we can do." John nodded, his heart swelling with pride. "We've built something truly special, Emily, and the best part is, we're just getting started." Emily smiled, her eyes reflecting the determination and passion that had brought them this far. "The future is bright, Dad, and I can't wait to see where our journey takes us next." As they stood together, surrounded by the beauty of the vineyard and the warmth of their community, John and Emily felt a profound sense of fulfillment and anticipation. They had created a legacy that would endure for generations, driven by innovation, sustainability, and a deep respect for the land and the people who called it home. The excitement from the Innovation Gala continued to reverberate throughout Carter Vineyards and the broader community. The gala had not only highlighted their achievements, but also attracted interest from various sectors looking to collaborate and support their mission. One of the most intriguing opportunities came from an unexpected source. A renowned culinary school in San Francisco, the Pacific Culinary Institute, PCI. The institute's director, Chef Monica Wells, reached out to John and Emily with a proposal that could elevate Carter Vineyards to new heights. "John, Emily," Chef Wells began during their first meeting at the vineyard, "I've been following your journey and am thoroughly impressed. At PCI, we emphasize the importance of sustainable and locally sourced ingredients. We would love to collaborate with Carter Vineyards to create a culinary program that showcases your wines and artisanal products. Emily's eyes sparkled with excitement. That sounds like a fantastic idea, Chef Wells. How do you envision this partnership? We could develop a series of workshops and courses where students learn about sustainable agriculture, winemaking, and the culinary arts using your products, Chef Wells explained. Additionally, we could host special events and dinners at the vineyard, featuring menus crafted around your wines and goods. John nodded thoughtfully. This could be a great way to expand our reach and educate people about the importance of sustainability in both agriculture and the culinary world. The partnership with PCI marked the beginning of an exciting new chapter for Carter Vineyards. They worked closely with Chef Wells and her team to develop a comprehensive curriculum that combined hands-on learning with immersive experiences in the vineyard. As the program took shape, John and Emily transformed one of the vineyard's old barns into a state-of-the-art culinary classroom and kitchen. The renovation preserved the rustic charm of the original structure while equipping it with modern amenities necessary for teaching and hosting events. The first cohort of students arrived in the spring, eager to learn and immerse themselves in the world of sustainable winemaking and culinary arts. Emily took on the role of educator, sharing her knowledge and passion with the students. One morning, as Emily led a group of students through the vineyard, she stopped at a particularly lush row of grapevines. These vines are a perfect example of how our sustainable practices have enhanced the quality of our grapes, she explained. By using organic fertilizers and careful water management, we've created a healthy, thriving environment for these plants. A student named Jamie raised her hand. Emily, how do you balance maintaining the quality of the grapes while ensuring sustainability? It's all about understanding the needs of the vines and the ecosystem, Emily replied. We monitor soil health, weather patterns, and vine growth closely. It requires a lot of attention to detail and a commitment to doing what's best for both the grapes and the environment. In the kitchen, Chef Wells taught the students how to create dishes that complemented the vineyard's wines. They experimented with pairings, crafted menus, and even developed new recipes using Carter's artisan goods. One evening, as the students prepared for a special dinner event, John joined them in the kitchen. He observed their work, feeling a sense of pride and fulfillment. "You're doing an amazing job," he said, addressing the students. "Your creativity and dedication are exactly what we hope to inspire with this program." The dinner was a resounding success, attended by local food critics, journalists, and members of the community. The students showcased their skills, presenting beautifully crafted dishes that highlighted the vineyard's products. The guests were impressed, and the event garnered positive reviews, further elevating Carter Vineyard's reputation. As the program continued to grow, John and Emily noticed a ripple effect. Local businesses and farms began to adopt more sustainable practices, inspired by the vineyard's success. The sense of community and collaboration that had always been at the heart of Carter Vineyards now extended beyond its borders. One day, as John and Emily were discussing the program's progress, they received a visit from David Harris, the environmental activist they had met at the Innovation Gala. "John, Emily, I've been following your work with the culinary school," David said, his voice filled with admiration. "It's truly inspiring. I have an idea for a larger-scale project that could benefit the entire region." Emily leaned forward, intrigued. "What do you have in mind, David?" "I propose we create a regional coalition of farms, vineyards, and culinary institutions committed to sustainability," David explained. "We could share resources, knowledge, and support each other in our efforts to promote sustainable practices. It would amplify our impact and create a stronger, more resilient community." John's eyes lit up with excitement. "That's a brilliant idea, David. We've always believed in the power of collaboration. This could be the next step in our journey." Over the following months, John, Emily, and David worked tirelessly to establish the coalition. They reached out to local farmers, vineyard owners, and culinary schools, inviting them to join the initiative. The response was overwhelmingly positive, with many eager to be part of a movement that aligned with their values and goals. The coalition, named the Sustainable Agriculture and Culinary Alliance, SACA, held its inaugural meeting at Carter Vineyards. The event brought together a diverse group of individuals, united by their commitment to sustainability and community. During the meeting, Emily addressed the attendees. Saka represents a collective effort to create a better future for our region. By working together, we can share knowledge, resources, and support each other in our journey towards sustainability. John added, "This alliance is about more than just improving our practices. It's about building a community that values and respects the land, the people, and the future generations who will inherit it." The formation of Saka marked a significant milestone in Carter Vineyard's journey. The alliance facilitated the exchange of ideas, fostered collaborations, and provided a platform for collective action. It strengthened the bonds within the community and reinforced the importance of sustainable practices. As the alliance grew, it attracted attention from national and international organizations. Saka became a model for other regions, demonstrating the power of collaboration in promoting sustainability and resilience. One afternoon, as John and Emily walked through the vineyard, they reflected on the impact of their efforts. The vineyard had transformed into a hub of innovation, education, and community engagement. The fruits of their labor were evident in the thriving vines, the bustling kitchen, and the vibrant community that had formed around them. "Dad, we've achieved so much," Emily said, her voice filled with pride. "But there's still so much more we can do." John nodded, his heart swelling with gratitude. "We've built something truly special, Emily, and the best part is, we're doing it together." As they stood amidst the rows of grapevines, the sun setting in the distance, John and Emily felt a deep sense of fulfillment and anticipation. They had created a legacy rooted in love, dedication, and a profound respect for the land and the people. The future of Carter Vineyards was bright, and they were ready to continue their journey, forging new alliances and making a lasting difference in the world. As Carter Vineyards continued to thrive, John and Emily found themselves reflecting on the journey that had brought them to this point. They had faced numerous challenges, embraced innovation, and built a community united by a shared vision of sustainability and excellence. Now, as they looked to the future, they felt a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose. One autumn evening, as the sun cast a golden glow over the vineyard, John and Emily sat on the porch of the main house, savoring a glass of their finest wine. The vineyard was bustling with activity, with workers preparing for the upcoming harvest and students from the Pacific Culinary Institute busy in the kitchen. "Dad, do you ever think about what's next for Carter Vineyards?" Emily asked, her gaze thoughtful. John nodded. "I do, Emily. We've achieved so much, but there's always room for growth and improvement. I've been thinking about how we can ensure that our legacy endures for generations to come." Emily smiled. "I've been thinking about that too. We've built something truly special here, and I want to make sure that it continues to thrive long after we're gone." With that shared goal in mind, John and Emily began to develop a comprehensive plan for the future of Carter Vineyards. They focused on three key areas: education, innovation, and community. First, they expanded their educational initiatives, creating a permanent training center at the vineyard. The center offered courses in sustainable agriculture, winemaking, and culinary arts, attracting students and professionals from around the world. They also established scholarships to support aspiring farmers and winemakers, ensuring that financial barriers did not prevent talented individuals from pursuing their dreams. One afternoon, as Emily was teaching a class on organic farming practices, she noticed a young woman named Ava who was particularly enthusiastic and engaged. After the class, Emily approached her. "Ava, you have a real passion for this," Emily said, smiling warmly. "What inspired you to pursue a career in sustainable agriculture?" Ava's eyes lit up. "My family has a small farm, and we've always struggled to make ends meet. I want to learn how to make our farm more sustainable and successful. Your story and what you've built here at Carter Vineyards is incredibly inspiring." Emily felt a surge of pride and gratitude. "I'm so glad to hear that, Ava. We're here to support you in any way we can. If you ever need guidance or resources, don't hesitate to reach out." The second pillar of their plan focused on innovation. John and Emily continued to collaborate with green tech solutions and other tech companies to stay at the forefront of agricultural advancements. They invested in cutting-edge technologies, such as automated harvesting machines and AI-driven analytics, to optimize their operations and reduce their environmental impact. One day, while overseeing the installation of new AI-driven sensors, John was approached by Emma Reed from Green Tech Solutions. "John, it's amazing to see how far you've come," Emma said, her voice filled with admiration. "Carter Vineyards is truly a leader in agricultural innovation." John smiled. "We couldn't have done it without your support, Emma. Your technologies have made a huge difference, and we're excited to see what the future holds." The third pillar of their plan centered on community engagement. John and Emily believed that a strong community was essential to the vineyard's success. They expanded their outreach programs, hosting events and workshops that brought people together and fostered a sense of belonging. One evening, as they prepared for a community harvest festival, Emily noticed a familiar face in the crowd. It was Lily, the young girl who had shown such enthusiasm for sustainable farming during a previous workshop. Now a teenager, Lily had become a regular participant in the vineyard's programs. "Lily, it's so good to see you," Emily said, giving her a warm hug. "How have you been?" Lily grinned. "I've been great, Emily. I've learned so much here, and I'm even starting my own small garden at home. I want to follow in your footsteps and make a difference in my community." Emily's heart swelled with pride. "That's wonderful, Lily. You're already making a difference, and I'm so proud of you." The festival was a resounding success, with families, friends, and neighbors coming together to celebrate the harvest. There were games, music, and of course, plenty of food and wine. John and Emily watched with joy as the community came together, united by a shared love for the land and its bounty. As the evening drew to a close, John took the stage to address the crowd. "Thank you all for being here tonight," he began, his voice filled with emotion. "Carter Vineyards has always been about more than just making wine. It's about building a community, supporting each other, and working together to create a better future." Emily joined him on stage, her eyes shining with pride. "We're grateful for each and every one of you. Together, we've built something truly special, and we're committed to continuing this journey with all of you by our side." The crowd erupted in applause, the sense of unity and shared purpose palpable. As John and Emily looked out over the sea of smiling faces, they knew that their legacy was secure. The vineyard would continue to thrive, sustained by the love and dedication of the community they had built. In the months that followed, Carter Vineyards continued to flourish. The training center attracted students from around the world, the new technologies boosted productivity and sustainability, and the community engagement programs strengthened the bonds within the region. One evening, as John and Emily walked through the vineyard, they paused to admire the view. The grapevines stretched out before them, bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun. "Dad, we've come so far," Emily said, her voice filled with wonder. "And it feels like we're just getting started." John smiled, his heart swelling with pride. "We have, Emily. We've built something that will last for generations, and we've done it together." As they stood there, surrounded by the beauty of the vineyard and the warmth of their community, John and Emily felt a profound sense of fulfillment and anticipation. They had created a legacy rooted in love, dedication, and a deep respect for the land and the people. The future of Carter Vineyards was bright, and they were ready to continue their journey, confident in their ability to navigate whatever came their way. The story of Carter Vineyards was one of growth, transformation, and endless possibilities. And as John and Emily looked to the future, they knew that their journey was far from over. They were ready to embrace new challenges, forge new alliances, and continue making a lasting difference in the world. We want to hear your opinion. Leave a comment below, share your impressions, and your own stories of resilience and hope. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next emotional videos. Join us on this journey and follow more incredible stories. See you next time.